Welcome to this press briefing on the second Employment Working Group meeting. Welcome to you all. And we have with us to tell us more about this, Secretary, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Mrs. Aarti Ahuja, Principal Secretary to the Government of Assam, Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti, Mr. Rupesh Thakur, Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Labour and Employment. So how we will start is, first we will have opening remarks by Honorable Secretary Ma'am, followed by a presentation by Mr. Rupesh Thakur, and then we will have remarks from the Principal Secretary to the Assam Government, Mr. Chakravarti. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mrs. Mattu, and I welcome all of you to the opening press conference for the Employment Working Group. The Employment Working Group is hosted and chaired by the Ministry of Labour and Employment in the Government of India. And we associate with a number of knowledge partners, both within the country and outside the country, for the substantive matters. The first Employment Working Group meeting was held in Jodhpur, and this is the second. We will be elaborating further on what has gone on in the past and what we are planning to do in the future and how it is structured. But just to tell you briefly that we have taken up 3 areas which are of great interest to the G20 nations. As you may be aware, any decision in the G20 is taken by consensus. All the parties have to agree on it. So we have been talking to our partner countries, and 3 areas have been identified. One relates to skills and how we can have a common nomenclature for skills across the globe. Currently, such a thing does not exist. So what we are looking at is a system change, a system reform through India's G20 presidency. The next area is about the emerging economy of gig and platform work. Many countries are trying very hard. In India, our code on social security for the first time has given a definition for what is a gig worker, what is a platform worker, and also provided for their social security. So we are taking this forward as part of the presidency, and this is something we are going to deliberate upon on how we can provide social security to the gig and platform workers. The third is the issue of universal social protection. What kind of different models can be evolved through budgetary resources, through contribution. All the countries in the world are currently struggling with this issue, and we hope to arrive at a statement on the importance of this. And I would particularly like to express my very sincere thanks to the state government of Assam, led by Honorable Chief Minister, who have been involved in the planning and logistics of this event. It has absolutely been wonderful coming here and seeing the hospitality right from the airport till here. I have been talking to the delegates, and they have all told me how floored they are by just coming here and seeing the warmth and the gestures of the people here. So thank you, Assam. Thank you, the government, and thanks to all the citizens who have come together to ensure that the second employment working group goes on well. I'll now hand over to my colleague, Joint Secretary, Mr. Rupesh Kumar Thakur, to take you through a presentation which will give you the details. And then I'll request my colleague, Kalyan Chakravarti, Principal Secretary of Culture, of Labour, Skills and Cooperation, to tell us about what the government of Assam has done so generously for the second Employment Working Group. Over to you, Rupesh.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So I have got one presentation on India's G20 presidency, and particularly the Employment Working Group. So as friends, all of you know that G20 is the group of 20 countries, and it includes emerging nations also and developed nations also. And it is a premier forum for international economic cooperation. And India has assumed presidency from 1st of December 2022, and it will continue up to 30th of November 2023. Now, this G20 has two tracks. One is finance track, other is Sherpa track. And under Sherpa track, we have different working groups. So employment working group is one of such groups. And it is, as ma'am has already told, that it is led by Ministry of Labour and Employment. And its mandate is to discuss, deliberate and address priority labour issues, employment issues and social issues. So this is the EWG's timeline. So first EWG meeting took place in Jodhpur from 2nd to 4th of February, and third is going to start from today, and the second is going to start from today, and third is in Geneva, and the summit will take place in the month of July. Ministers' meet will take place in the month of July. So as already ma'am has said, that we have taken three very important and relevant priority areas. The first is addressing global skill gaps. The second is gig and platform economy and social protection. And the third is sustainable financing of the social protection. So as far as the first is the addressing global skill gap is concerned, as we all witness that there are numerous mega trends such as digitalization or automation or the climate change or demographic shifts. So what these things have done is that new sectors and new jobs are emerging, and the skill sets which are required for those sectors, now there's a lack, is not available actually. So there is a skill mismatch, and what it is doing, it is negatively impacting the economic development and economic growth of the country. So what we want, that G20 should come out with a strategy to address these skill gaps. Now, the first thing is that we must know how much skill gap is there. So for that, we should have data, availability of data, the quality data and the comparable data. Internationally comparable data should be there. So we are proposing certain indicators, and we are proposing that we will develop the skill mismatch modules, which we will include in our labor force survey, in our demand-based establishment survey, or in the household survey, so as to know that how much skill demand is there, and how much mismatch is there, in which sector it is there. And if we get this, we will get the evidence that yes, in this sector we require this kind of skill, and we can make policy intervention at the appropriate level, starting from the school level. So it is very, very important thing. And if we want to know about the global skill gaps, I mean, what is the skill gap in different countries, we need to have comparability of the skills. So for that, we need to work on harmonization aspect. Harmonization means that every country has got their own skill qualification framework. So to compare it with other countries, and how it can be done through referencing or standardization or benchmarking, as is being done by several countries through bilateral agreements. So we also want to move towards the direction of harmonization. And thirdly, we also want that construction of a global taxonomy, so that there is a common language of the skill. Taxonomy means that there is a skill classification, and that skill classification is matched with the qualification and the world of work, that is the occupation. So for the entire globe, for the entire world, there should be one global taxonomy. So that what it will do, it will then we can it will enhance the employment opportunity also as per the international labor market demand. The second issue I will come is gig and platform worker. This is also a very emerging sector, but in most of the countries, the social protection, they are not having adequate social protection. So we want to come out with a policy principles on how to provide social protection to them. There are a lot of things like classification, but we are not bothered about that. Irrespective of the classification of the worker, the legal status of the worker, some basic set of social security is to be provided to them. So we are working on that. We will come out with a statement, outcome document, or the ministerial communique on how we are providing that. The third, which is very important, is sustainable financing of the social protection. Now you see that our SDG goal, the social sustainable development goal, also says that we have to provide social protection to all by 2030. So if we have to provide social protection, sustainable financing should be there. That is the challenge across the globe, not only in the developing countries, but across the developed countries also. So we have to work on this. Now, if we have to make it sustainable, we have to move towards contribution-based system, or what is called as social insurance system. For that, we need to formalize our economy. And because what is happening in the developing countries, we have a lot of informal sector, and we have to provide them the social assistance program. So if we bring them to formal sector, then the contribution-based system can be introduced. So we should work on that, and we should also advocate for adequate level of social spending in the budget preparation also. So these things, I mean, how to finance and what is the fiscal space available with the different countries depend on the national circumstances. And as we all know, one size doesn't fit all. So what we are doing in our G20 meeting is that we are prescribing a menu of options which can be selected by the countries as per their national circumstances. And so we'll come out with that policy option for sustainable financing of the social protection. So these three issues we will be discussing, and we have already made the draft ministerial declaration or ministerial communique and 3 outcome documents on these 3 priority areas. And we have circulated it to all G20 countries. We received comments also. We have compiled that comment also. And in this meeting, what we are going to do, we will discuss line by line. So line by line negotiation will take place. And at the end of, it will continue. In the 3rd EWG also it will be discussed. The 4th EWG also it will be discussed. And at the end, we will come out with a ministerial declaration which will be adopted by the ministers in the ministers' meeting. Now we also have knowledge partners like Niti Aayog, VVGNLI, that is Vivigiri National Labour Institute. Then we have Pandit Deel Dayal Upadhyay, National Academy of Social Security, and Ministry of Skill Development, Entrepreneurship, and National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC. They are our national knowledge partners, and ILO, International Labour Organization, OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, International Social Security Association, and World Bank. We have associated with these organizations, and they are our international knowledge partners. So for this meeting, we have received accreditation from 19 member countries, and total number of delegates are 74, and 59 are from 19 member countries, 15 from 7 guest countries, and 6 are from 5 international organizations. So we have quite a good number of representation from various countries. Now, as I said that we need to finalize ministerial and the outcome documents, so we need to negotiate line by line. For that, we also do bilateral consultations. So Secretary Ma'am had gone for the GB meeting of ILO, and there she held various bilateral consultations with different countries, with Argentina, ILO, OECD, ISA, Japan, France, and we are engaging with the various countries bilaterally also to come at a conclusion. Now I will tell you about the detail of the second EWG meeting. So today the meeting will start, and now see, we are also collaborating with the various other working groups like Education Working Group, Digital Economy Working Group, Finance Track, because they are having the issues which overlap with our issues. So these are cross-cutting issues, and to enhance the synergy, we need to collaborate, and we have kept presentation from these groups that how they are proceeding on the matters which overlap with our priority areas. Then we also have intervention from our social engagement groups, social partners L20 and B20. They will tell us about their inception meetings and what outcomes they are going to achieve. Then 4th and 5th, we will be totally focusing on discussing the ministerial communique and outcome documents. So for the 2 days, line by line negotiations will take place. Now for cultural experience and excursion, I will hand over the mic to Kalyan sir, who will brief. Sir,
Yeah, thank you.
you want to come here, sir?
No. I can brief from here, right?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Yeah. No, I'll talk from here. So.
Okay, sir.
First of all, on behalf of the Government of Assam, I would like to thank Secretary Labour, Government of India, and the Government of India for giving this opportunity to the state of Assam by holding this meeting in this culturally rich northeastern state of Assam. First, ma'am, to repeat, Assam is the gateway to not just the northeast, but to all the Southeast Asian countries. And it is a land not just of mineral resources, it is also a biodiversity hotspot and has great potential both in terms of tourism, it has great potential in hospitality, and it has great potential in terms of number of industries like tea, petroleum, etc. We are also one of the fastest growing states in the country, and we have emerged as the engine of growth for the future of the country. And the topics that you have taken, ma'am, basically the Government of India is focusing on, that is the skill gaps, gig platforms, and social security, are very, very integral to the growth and development of the state. And let me just say that we have in the state of Assam, I mean in tune, in fact, the students have done a lot, and we have contributed through all the universities as a voice of the students. We are going to present what is our thought process on these three issues. But let me also say that we have identified what are the skill gaps in the state of Assam, and employment generation and employment creation is one of the key most focuses of the state of Assam, ma'am. Honorable Chief Minister gives extreme importance to this. We have set up probably one of a future kind of a skill university in the state of Assam, which will cater not just to the northeastern states, maybe to also all the neighboring states. Gig and platform workers will be a focus area for the state of Assam, given its geographical location. And social security, of course, has been the primemost concern of the states of Assam. In their morning assemblies, we are giving awareness about not just this particular meeting, but about the issues relating to labor, issue and girl empowerment, and plantations in various tea gardens, all the tea gardens of the state of Assam. Assam is known for tea. In fact, probably a significant portion of the world wakes up to Assam's tea. And today we have disseminated the knowledge of how much we do for the labor, especially the plantation workers. And we also brought in awareness about their rights by planting trees across the state. And this whole mission was started by the Honorable Chief Minister by doing the plantation drive, by planting a tree himself. We look forward to whatever support we need to give. We are very happy to host all the delegates, and we thank you once again for the opportunity that has been given to Assam for hosting this for this G20 meeting. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kalyanji. And now we'll open the floor to media for any questions if they have.
Before we go on, I just wanted to mention that the reason why G20 meetings, there are different streams, there are different working groups and engagement groups. All of them are meeting in different parts of the country. It could have jolly well been in one or two cities, but Honorable Prime Minister decided that it will be held all over the country. And the main reason was that everybody should get involved through Jan Bhagidari. And I'm really very proud to say, and I really acknowledge the efforts made by the state government to include people in the G20 meeting. It is not just a meeting where a few people are participating. The whole of state of Assam has got involved. Students have got involved. Plantation workers have got involved. This is a tremendous effort by the state government, and we are really grateful to them for ensuring this Jan Bhagidari.
Any questions, please? Yeah.
Include their guest country. There was a slide where you have mentioned that 74 delegates. These many delegates they have arrived here.
Yes, 74 delegates have come total. and 59 are from member countries, G20 member countries, and 15 are from 7 guest countries, and 6 are from 5 international organizations. So they have arrived.
These are all government delegates. They are official representatives of the governments of those countries.
Hi, you want to say? Yeah, question. Just give the mic to her.
Thank you. Ma'am, good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am. Just Nandita Dagar from DD News, Delhi, Doordarshan News, Delhi. Ma'am, just wanted to know that the whole world is dealing with a cost of living crisis and unemployment, mostly, except India has been spared, but Europe especially and the Western world. And this war in Ukraine is causing food supply problems. In that context, what are the proposals that our side or our labor ministry will put forward for the policy to be implemented or at least taken up in this working group, sir? Ma'am.
So, Nandita, as you rightly mentioned, there are global forces which are impacting the field of work. And the G20 nations are very cognizant of that. We have taken note of that. In fact, if you see the 3 theme areas we have taken up, for example, gig and platform work, when you talk of the issue of unemployment, that is emerging as a major sector for employment creation. We also have changes happening in the world because of digitization. There are some jobs that are being taken away and some jobs that are coming in. So all the countries have to keep updated with that. And that is where our whole skilling framework comes into it. In fact, the IT track, the digital track of government of G20 is also looking at digital skills. And we are converging with them as far as that is concerned. So all these things are being addressed through the G20 presidency of India. And that backdrop definitely is in everybody's mind and is also forming a part of the communique that we are coming out with.
Any more questions? If we don't have any more questions, yeah, please.
Hi, this is Trudy from PTI. I just wanted to know one thing, that unemployment is a huge problem in India as well as across the world. So there has been a debate going on for a long time about giving an unemployment allowance to the unemployed youths. So some states tried to do it or probably doing it in a very micro level in India, but not as a country as a whole. So what is India's stand on giving an unemployment allowance, and whether India is going to discuss this in this working group?
So anyway, this is not related, strictly speaking, to the employment working group. However, I'll answer it. For the formal sector, we have an organization called ESIC, employs, it is like an insurance corporation. What it does is that when anybody who works in an establishment is out of work due to an accident, employment-related injury, or maternity issues, or some temporary disablement, then unemployment benefit is given to them. So India already has it as far as the people who are covered, which are in crores, the workers and their families. So we already have that provision. We also have the provision of the Employees Provident Fund. And as far as social security for people above 60 goes, we also have a pension scheme. So all these things are there for the formal sector workers. And for the informal sector workers, there are a number of social security provisions already existing. There are a number of benefits being given through the different arms of the government. In fact, you may be aware that we have a portal called Workforce. We have done their mapping because Aadhaar is a unique card, and we find that nearly insurance, and we find a lot of the informal sector workforce which are eligible for those different schemes are covered under those schemes.
Any more questions? I think then again, so thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Kalyanji, thank you, Rupesh. I think we wind up for today. Thank you, Assam, for supporting us, coming here. Please do continue with our journey for the next 2-3 days. We look forward to your support, and I would like you all to join us for the high tea. Thank you so much.
Thank you.